What is up, everyone? Today is Tuesday, which means that it's time for another live Q&A. As always, I'm your host, Paul J. Lipsky, here to answer any questions you might have about dropshipping onto different marketplaces like eBay, TikTok Shop, or Facebook Marketplace. So if you have any questions, ask them in the live chat, and I'll do my best to answer those questions for you. Now, I made some big announcements last week, so I want to recap those announcements because they're still very relevant for this week. First, the really exciting news is that I'm going to be hosting this week a live TikTok Shop dropshipping training. If you want to register for that, that will be the first link in the description down below. This, I think, is one of the biggest opportunities of, honestly, the past decade. This is like if you ever wanted to get into something like, or ever wished you could have gotten into like Amazon FBA when it first started, or like Bitcoin when it first came out, or just join any of these big businesses that people have been doing. And if you always wanted to get into those early, I always kind of wished that you had been one of those early adopters. I think this is that opportunity. I think TikTok Shop, it's already huge and it's only going to grow bigger and bigger. The things we're seeing on TikTok Shop are mind-blowing. It's the only platform I've seen that's able to harness the power of social media and viral videos with selling products. Literally, when you do this, your products can go viral, and we're seeing it happen. It's on a scale we've just never experienced before. So I'm very excited to bring you all this training. It's not going to be on YouTube, so you do have to register for it, and spots are limited. They are filling up. So make sure you do register at the first link in the description of this video. Should be the only link in there as well. It's free to register, by the way. So just make sure that you do before the spots fill up. Now, one thing is that I do want to devote a lot more time to TikTok dropshipping, devote to teaching my students about TikTok dropshipping as well. So it's going to require a lot more time on my part, which means that next week, 1 week from today, will be my last regular live Q&A that I do every single week. I've been doing these every single week for like 6 or 7 years now, pretty consistently. Every once in a while, there's a week that I miss, but for 6 or 7 years, I've been doing these live Q&As every single week. And it's time for a new chapter because after next week, that won't happen anymore. I will probably go live every once in a while for different reasons, but generally speaking, we will not have a regular live Q&A every single week. And part of the reason for that is because I'm going to be, like I said, helping out a lot of my members with TikTok dropshipping, and it's going to require a lot more time on my part. So I'm just not going to be able to do that anymore. So new chapter, it is sad, but I think overall, you're going to see that this is going to be for the benefit of everyone, especially my members. You're going to see that it's totally worth it. So I'm very, very excited for what's to come next. I'm going to be talking about all of that during the training as well. So make sure that you come, make sure you learn about this new system I'm putting together because it is unlike anything out there. I've really devoted a lot of time to this, a lot of resources. I brought on other experts as well. I'm going to reveal it all during the training, so make sure that you comment. I don't want to spoil it, so make sure that you come. Make sure you learn what this new system is that I'm putting together. And part of that system is going to be TikTok Shop dropshipping. So I can't wait to see a lot of you at the training. Again, that will be linked up in the description of this video. But we still have a couple more live Q&As left, so let's get into it. Let me answer as many questions as I can before we run out of time. So first we have Kared. What is up, Kared? Thanks for being back and for always asking such great questions. So Kared's first question is, if I have AutoDS for eBay, can I still use AutoDS to do product research and choose products on AutoDS specifically for TikTok? Yeah, you can, man. So one of the things I love about AutoDS is that it allows you to sell on eBay, Facebook Marketplace, TikTok, Shopify, Amazon, I believe. Where else? I think there's some other ones. It allows you to sell on all those different platforms from within one AutoDS account. So everything under one roof really streamlines and simplifies the entire process. And they do have some product research tools built in that you can use to help you find products to dropship onto TikTok Shop. And I'll be talking about that during my training this week. So if you want to learn more about that, come to the training. Come to the training, cred, and I'll talk more about that. RX Rob says, if you were going to do 1-step or 2-step dropshipping, would Amazon Prime be okay? All packages would be sent to the home address after all. All right, so what is 1-step and 2-step dropshipping? So 1-step dropshipping basically means that's traditional dropshipping. So we sell a product on a marketplace like eBay or TikTok Shop or Facebook Marketplace. After the item sells, we order it from our supplier, like Amazon, and Amazon will ship it directly to the customer. Or you can use software that will automatically order it from Amazon and ship it to the customer for you. So it makes it a little bit easier. That's 1-step. 2-step dropshipping is when an order comes in, you order it from Amazon or whatever supplier you're using, and Amazon delivers it to you first. You then repackage it and then ship it from your house directly to the customer. So that's 2-step. Why would someone do 2-step dropshipping? Well, the real reason people do 2-step dropshipping is to hide the fact that they're dropshipping. So the example that comes to mind for me is if you were going to use Temu as a supplier. I made a video about this about a month ago. Temu doesn't allow you to dropship using them. So if you order stuff from Temu, you can ship it to your own house. But if you start shipping it to multiple different addresses, Temu's going to shut down your Temu account. So you can't use Temu for regular 1-step dropshipping. So one solution is you order stuff from Temu after an order comes in on like TikTok Shop, or don't use Temu for TikTok Shop. This is just an example. So you order it from Temu, it comes to you, your house, then you repackage it and send it to the customer. That way Temu never knows that you're doing it, and they're probably not going to shut down your account. That's the reason people do 2-step dropshipping. Now, if you're going to be dropshipping from Amazon to, let's say, really anywhere, eBay or Facebook or TikTok Shop, then you don't have to worry about this if you are using order fulfillment, using like AutoDS. So inside of AutoDS, you can set it up so that it automatically orders items for you every time you get an order in. So you get an order in on TikTok Shop, AutoDS will order it from Amazon, ship it directly to your TikTok customer for you. With that, they're going to use their own Prime accounts. If their Prime accounts get shut down, it's okay because they have lots of different Prime accounts. The issue is if you do this yourself and order yourself using your own Amazon accounts, the problem is that Amazon doesn't like you using Prime to ship to multiple addresses like that, so they'll shut down your Prime account. So that's why you just use AutoDS's. They will take care of it, and you don't have to worry about Prime accounts being shut down. Okay, Frankie says you've mentioned not to put your eBay accounts on vacation mode. So when you go on vacation, let's say Europe, how do you still run it? Yeah, I mean, I just run it. I mean, I bring my laptop with me. What I've done this in the past where I've vacationed, and sometimes I've used a VPN and other times I haven't. And I haven't had any issues either way. So I think it's fine not to use a VPN. So what I do is I travel and I have my laptop with me and I run my store. I have virtual assistants that run my store for me and software that runs my store. And I just have to really check in with them all. So that allows me to run my store without a lot of work, even while I'm traveling. So that would probably be the best recommendation. Otherwise, if you really did want to break, Frankie, what you could do is just raise all your prices and increase your shipping times so you'll get less orders. And if you increase your shipping times by a lot, you may even be able to not fulfill your orders until you get back home, if that makes sense. Yeah, I would push them on that a little bit because they can go ahead and absolutely do that and actually live chat with Amazon for that exact reason. A lot of times Amazon will just refund them or refund you, and then you can refund the customer. I have not personally dealt with an MC011, but I know people who have. It does take time, but it's usually beatable if you put in the time and actually give them what they need. Yeah, unfortunately, I without knowing why you got suspended or looking at your account, I don't know why that would happen. I've made some videos before about why your account may be suspended. You might want to check those out to make sure that you were doing everything right. But there are various reasons you could be suspended. It's honestly pretty rare unless you've kind of deceived them in some way, like you said you were from the United States and you're not, something like that. But generally, it's not going to happen to most people. So all the training for TikTok Shop is going to happen this week. You can sign up for the training. I know you've probably done that already, Lawrence, but to everyone else, the link to sign up is in the description. One thing I will say is that if you're already a member of one of my courses, there is a special training for you. It's going to be earlier. There's going to be slightly different information in there. So check your email for that so you get that special link so you can get the training even earlier. Frankie says, do you really need Shopify to dropship on TikTok, or is that to sync up with AutoDS? Yeah, so that's only to sync up with AutoDS. And luckily soon you won't even have to do that. So the way TikTok automation works is we have TikTok Shop and we have AutoDS. AutoDS is kind of like the backbone, right? It's able to pull information from like Amazon. It's able to see if there's any price changes of products on Amazon, and it can make those changes and add those products into your TikTok Shop. But the two can't speak directly with each other yet. So we have this middle software. Well, it's not really software, it's Shopify. So what happens is you set up a Shopify account, and that's what enables the communication between AutoDS and TikTok. Soon there's going to be a direct integration, but for now we're using Shopify to do that. Yeah, I'll miss you guys too. I'll miss you, Mike. Yeah, I've played around with Discord a little bit, but we'll see. I have something I want to try before that. Yeah, I'm going to miss you too, Lorenzo. You're definitely one of the regulars, so I definitely appreciate you, man. Krillin says, if I dropship from Amazon to eBay, how do I provide a tracking number if eBay doesn't allow a tracking number from Amazon? Yeah, so Amazon has their own tracking numbers, and some platforms don't allow you to upload those. Like eBay you technically can, but you really shouldn't on eBay. So luckily, if you use auto fulfillment with AutoDS, they will actually convert those tracking numbers into usable ones for you. If you don't use them, you can use a service like Track Taco to convert them very easily. So that's what people do. Frankie says, if you had the time, would you focus on Walmart dropshipping? I know they don't like using Amazon to dropship. Any tips? Yeah, so what Frankie is talking about is dropshipping onto Walmart, because Walmart, believe it or not, is a marketplace, just like Amazon is, or eBay. So not only are they selling their own products, you can actually create an account on Walmart as a seller and sell your products there. Now, I'd say like 3 years ago, dropshipping on Walmart became very popular. It was like a flash in the pan. It was like just a few months where it was working really well, and then Walmart realized what was happening and they shut down all of those accounts. So it's become much harder to dropship on Walmart. I have a couple of friends that are doing it and absolutely crushing it, but the setup process, getting the account approval and keeping it approved for the first few months is very, very difficult. So for beginners, there's a lot of hurdles to get over for that. You pretty much have to do it with an LLC. You can run into a lot of issues where you get shut down. You may not even be approved for an account, and it's kind of hit or miss. So there's a lot that can go wrong with that. So it's one of the reasons I just, I think it's more headache than it's worth. And I don't think it's going to help a lot of you if I talk about it, because so many of you are just not going to be able to do it. It's kind of like luck of the draw. We'll see, man. We'll see. I do like Discord, so. Mike says, do you have your virtual assistants use AI at all to optimize titles, or only manual with Zeek keyword research? I feel like title optimization is difficult to teach. Yeah, so I really wanted AI to be good at title building, and I've not been able to get it to be good at title building. So if you don't know what title building is, that's when we use software like Zeek. Zeek has a title builder built in. And what it will do is it will actually show you popular keywords that people search for. So I could search for microphone on the title builder tool in Zeek, and it'll say, hey, when people search for microphone, they also search for microphone stand, they search for USB microphone, they search for like all these other keywords that people search for when they're looking for microphones. And you can put as many of those popular keywords into your title. That increases the chances that your listing is going to show up higher in the search results. I would love it if AI could write those titles for me. I've tried with ChatGPT, I've tried with some other services, and all the titles that they create are terrible. And I think it's just because they don't have access to that data. They don't know what keywords are popular on eBay or Facebook or TikTok. They're just kind of making it up. So it just doesn't work, unfortunately. I have not found a way to make it work yet. Maybe in the future, something like that would be able to be integrated into Zeek, but for now, it's not. So we do it all manually, but of course, we're using the software to help us generate the keywords. Like, I guess one thing I haven't tried this. What you could do is like search on Zeek for microphone. It'll give you a list of all these keywords. You copy all of them, send them to ChatGPT and say, make a title. But by the time you do that, you could just make it yourself. So I don't think it's a good idea. Jeremiah, you're going to make me cry, man. Jeremiah says, sad to see the weekly visits go, but I totally get it. Thank you for providing this for us. I know for myself and many others, it has been truly life-changing. I appreciate all that you have done. Geez, guys, you're going to make me cry. But guys, I'm not going anywhere, of course. I'm going to keep making videos every week, and I'm going to continue to support my members inside the programs, but just these weekly Q&As that are going to sunset. As a beginner, should I use promoted listings on eBay? Generally not, and generally you can't until you actually sign up for a store subscription, which most beginners don't do. So in the beginning, just focus on organic traffic, focus on getting good listings on and learning product research, and then you could use promoted listings later. Frankie's always trying to find what the next hot dropshipping platform is. I've honestly never even heard of Whatnot. I don't even know what that is. It's Whatnot. Buy, sell, and go live. Yeah, I don't know what this is. This kind of looks like Snapchat to me. I'm getting like Snapchat vibes. But yeah, I'll check it out later. Lorenzo says, do you understand the AutoDS fulfillment as far as their pricing? It seems very confusing. How much do they charge? Would you use their Amazon account? I'm not sure I understand what you mean, Lorenzo. So the way auto ordering works on AutoDS is they charge you the price of the item. So if the item on Amazon is, let's say $30, let's say $30 free shipping, and that's like $30 with tax. That's how much they charge you. Now, They also charge you every time you upload money into your wallet. And the reason for that is because there's like processing fees. So you have to cover that. And then they also charge you 1 credit for every single order that you have. So that's it. You just have to account for all of that. But that's really it. Amber says, are there any retail suppliers that do not have branded packaging? Not really, but it really doesn't matter, Amber. Customers do not care about this. Rarely do they care about this. Most of them are now used to multi-channel fulfillment, meaning you order something from eBay. A lot of eBay sellers are selling on Amazon as well, and they send all their products into Amazon. So Amazon is the one housing them and holding on to them. And then when the items are ready to be shipped out, Amazon will ship it to eBay customers. So it's not unusual at all, and it's not something that I would worry about at all. We do not. The reason most of your customers are probably from South America is because everyone else has turned off South America as a destination to ship to, because it's so difficult to ship items to customers in South America, or really outside the continental United States anywhere. So probably the best thing to do is to turn off those areas and only ship to customers based in the lower 48 states. It will only, so yeah, good question for Frankie. Frankie says, so will the Shopify subscription only be temporary? So he means like the Shopify subscription you need to sell on TikTok Shop. It will only be temporary until AutoDS creates a direct integration with TikTok Shop. After that, you won't need the Shopify account anymore. If that makes sense. But if you're going to continue to use Shopify as the middle software, then you will have to keep a subscription with them. Lego My Ego says, if one has a very high listing limit, can one strategy be to make unique titles and list away? Sure, you can do that, but remember, in the beginning, you don't want to scale up too quickly. You don't want to be coming out the gate, going from 0 to hundreds of listings every day. You definitely don't want to do that. You want to scale slowly. But then sure, later, I mean, once you get past those first 3 months, if you kind of just want to blast it out there, you can try that. It's not the strategy I prefer, even if I have a high listing limit. But if you want to do that, you could try it. Please, who is US supplier you treat with? I'm not sure I understand what you're asking. Do you mean like what suppliers do we use other than Amazon and Walmart? Those are the big ones. Those are the ones that have been the most consistent. We do use eBay on some other platforms like Facebook Marketplace, for instance. But Amazon and Walmart are the big ones, if I'm understanding, if that's answering your question. No, Puerto Rico is another place that we do not ship to. I forgot to look, honestly, Lorenzo. From what I remember, you still have to give your social, but I could be mistaken about that. Frankie D says, do you use the AutoDS title builder? I know AutoDS does have a title builder built in, but I'm used to using the Zeek one, so I use what I'm used to. So that's the one that I use. So some other US suppliers besides Walmart and Amazon you could look at. Again, eBay works on some platforms. I would not ship eBay to eBay though. Also, Wayfair is another good supplier that you can look at. Home Depot, unfortunately, has gotten not so great. They don't really allow returns anymore. So Wayfair is a good one that I would look at. Lorenzo says, do you use Zeek and AutoDS to do research, since both of them are researching tools? In collaboration, do you get a better result? All right, so AutoDS is primarily a software that's used for listing and repricing and order fulfillment. Zeek only does product research, and it does product research really well. So AutoDS has some product research built in that's really more for TikTok more than anything else. So yeah, we use both, but for different things. So Zeek, I use for product research to find items to sell everywhere. I use it to find products to sell on eBay, for Facebook Marketplace, for TikTok Shop. AutoDS I use for everything else, like listing items, order fulfillment, repricing, restocking. And we do use the product research tools on AutoDS to help us find products to dropship on TikTok as well. We don't really use them in collaboration though. Like it's not like I look up items on one and then, well, it's not true actually. I do that a little bit. So yeah, I guess I do that. So usually what I do is if I find items on AutoDS, I will then look them up in Zeek to get more information about those products. My pleasure. Are you using Fulfilled by AutoDS now? AutoDS works great without the auto fulfillment. Yes, but only for Amazon. So I only use order fulfillment to dropship from Amazon because that integration seems to be working really well. And again, that will allow you to use an Amazon Prime account, get Prime shipping on orders that are cheap. So you don't have to worry about shipping costs. Lorenzo says, when you start the TikTok for when we still talk to you live and we have problems or questions. Oh, okay. Sorry, typo. When you start the TikTok course, will we still be able to talk to you if you have any problems or questions? Yeah, so all the members of all my programs, so like eBay Dropshipping Titans, Marketplace Titans, which teaches you Facebook Marketplace dropshipping, you'll always be able to get help from me. You can email me directly, paul@pauljlipsky.com. During this training this week on TikTok Shop Dropshipping, it's going to be live, and you're going to be able to ask questions during that as well. And Lorenzo, I really encourage you to come to that because these questions about what the future is, not only with TikTok Shop, but the future of Dropshipping Titans, kind of like my brand, that's all going to be revealed during the training. So I really encourage you to come. I promise you all those questions are going to be answered. And if they're not, you can ask me any other questions during that training. But I kind of want to announce everything in one place at one time. So it's all going to go down during the training this week. No, the process is not, well, okay. There's a sign up process for TikTok Shop, and I'm trying to think how much I want to say because this is something else I'm going to be covering during the training as well. The application itself is not hard, like the questions they ask, but there are some challenges with getting signed up. And there are some challenges with actually getting everything set up. So again, come to the training. I'll talk more about it. But at the end of the day, you should be able to get approved, okay? I never like to say with 100% certainty, but everyone I've spoken to has been able to get approved. Maybe not right away, but eventually. And hasn't even taken that long. So you should be fine, Frankie, is what I'm saying. I haven't checked in a while what my average price per item is on eBay. I would have to look. My guess is it's probably somewhere in the high $20 price range. That is something you would have to ask AutoDS directly because I am not sure myself. Honestly, man, like for me personally, I'm just like, I hate sitting on opportunities and not taking advantage of them. So like I knew AutoDS was working on this and I was like, oh, maybe I'll just wait for them to do that. And I did wait a bit and I was like, I don't want to wait anymore. People out there making money on TikTok Shop, I want to be one of those people. So let's do it. Let's just get started with this. Let's start making money with TikTok Shop. And then I can always transition over to the new system later. Sorry, my back's kind of bothering me today. I started training for this Spartan race, which is like a obstacle course race. You go through like mud and jump over stuff. So one of the obstacles they often have is you have to carry these really heavy buckets. So there's like a bucket, it's like 65 pounds. It's not like super heavy, but like in a bucket form, it's like super awkward and you have to like lift it up and it's slippery. So I was practicing that yesterday and I think just like lifting it up kind of like strained my back a little bit. So I keep readjusting. If you see me readjusting, that's all. That's the reason why. Okay, Frankie says, has a great tip. So Frankie, appreciate you, man. Appreciate the tip. He says, sometimes you just need to list a product and see what happens. I listed a vinyl record yesterday and sold 7 units within 3 hours. Always be listing. Man, that is awesome. Awesome. I love that. And yeah, sometimes you just never know. You never know. I've never sold vinyl records, at least not that I know of. So that's pretty cool. How long is the probation with eBay? What do you mean by probation? So the first 3 months is where you have to be where you have to be careful. The first month is where you really have to be the most careful. Do you ever sell on Google's platform? I'm thinking if anything I sell on is owned by Google because they own so much. But no, I don't think so. Right? Facebook, eBay, TikTok. No, nothing Google. Ah, interesting, man. Sell on Sam's Club. Interesting. I bet not a lot of people know about that. If you're about 3 months in, how much should you be listing every day? Well, that depends on if you've been listing already. If you've been listing consistently, then you can certainly ramp things up. But if you haven't been listing, then it's like you're starting right at the beginning. You got to just list slowly with your products, just a few products a day. Rushani says, do you use your Amazon Prime account for order fulfillment on AutoDS? No, I don't. That is an option on AutoDS. You can have them auto order items for you using your Amazon accounts or their Amazon accounts. I suggest you use their Amazon accounts because then you can take advantage of Prime without worrying about your Prime accounts being shut down. Since TikTok is getting banned, is it still worth getting into? Well, TikTok is not getting banned. That's not something that's set in stone. I should really make a video about this, but actually AutoDS made a fantastic video about this that I'm not even sure I need to make one because it's so on point. So maybe you want to check out that video. But the key points in there, and these are all things that I agree with and have seen on my own as well, is that, first of all, the likelihood that TikTok is actually banned by Congress, I think is very low. Personally, I think this is just for show. These politicians are trying to have sort of, what do they call it? Like it's like a cause that they're being very publicly outspoken against to try to get people on their side, voters on their side, and try to appeal to voters. You see politicians do stuff like this. So first of all, I don't even think most politicians even care that much. But also, I just don't think it's going to get the support it needs to actually pass through. Now, if it does pass, it doesn't actually mean that TikTok is banned. There will be a period of time that they will be allowed to continue to operate, but they would eventually have to sell TikTok to a US-based company. So during that entire time, which we don't know how long that could be, it could be months, it could be years, that they are allowed to look for a buyer. So during that time, TikTok will continue to operate and we can continue to make money with it. And then my bet is even if we get to that point, there will be a US buyer who will actually buy it up and it will continue to exist the way it is and we'll be able to continue to use it. Now, in the worst case scenario, and TikTok is completely shut down in the United States, guess what's going to happen? Someone else is going to swoop in and someone else is going to take their place. They're going to basically build a TikTok clone. And we'll be ready for that because we'll be selling on that platform as well. So I'm not that worried about it, to be honest. I think that we're going to be fine. And even if this only lasts for another year, you know what? For that next year, I'm going to take as full advantage of it as I can, because I've been doing drop shipping. I've been doing e-commerce for a long time. I've seen people's lives change in a year. People who get into drop shipping, build up a store fast, sell, and in a year, they're in a financial position that makes them set for the rest of their life, even if they were to stop selling. Of course, they continue to sell to make more money, but a year can be a life-changing amount of time in the world of e-commerce. So even if it's just for a year, there's still a lot of money to be made in a year. So I'll give you a good example of this. My buddy Tyler, he used to do a lot of e-commerce and drop shipping. And again, when Walmart drop shipping came on the scene, he got into it and he went big with it. He made a lot of money drop shipping on Walmart, but 8 months later, Walmart shut the whole thing down. And I talked to him afterward and he was bummed out about it. But I was like, well, did you come out ahead? And he's like, yeah, I made out really well. Like, I don't have any regrets about doing it because I made so much money in those 8 months because it was brand new. No one else was doing it yet. It was a great opportunity and it was totally worth it, even if it was just for 8 months. So I always keep that story in mind. Even if I'm like afraid something's going to get shut down, it's like, it would still be worth it. All right, Lauren says, do you find yourself getting bored because you work for yourself? What do you do to combat it? Yeah, honestly, yeah, it can get kind of lonely sometimes. But the good news is that it gives you lots of flexibility to do a lot of other stuff with your life. Luckily, I live in a place where there's a lot of young people, or not that I'm like super young anymore, but like people my age that are either entrepreneurs or have found financial independence very early and been able to retire by my age. So I'm able to be friends with those people and see them during the week. I have a lot of hobbies like hiking and, training for Spartan races and things like that. So, you find stuff to do. It can feel boring at first, but you find stuff to do. Scrub back, man, because I already answered that question for you. My pleasure. Frankie says, if people have the time, I'd also suggest dedicating one day to some thrifting. I know it's a grind, but it's a good way to get some large profit margins and diversify even more. Good tip, Frankie. So Frankie's talking about going to thrift stores, garage sales, finding things that are cheap there that you can sell once off at a big markup on websites like eBay or Amazon. I know this works because my buddy Steve Rakin, who has a YouTube channel, Rakin Profit, he does that, or he did that and did really well with it. But it certainly is a grind. It certainly is a hustle. Dave says, do you have your virtual assistants use a VPN or VPS, and why? It depends on what they're doing, because a lot of what they do can just be done with AutoDS. They can just log into AutoDS and be able to list items, be able to do some customer service, help with order fulfillment. So that's like 95% of your business. So you really don't even need to give them access to your eBay account. We swimming in the bills, Scrooge McDuck style. That's good. That's a good imagery right there. It's not a bad idea, Frankie. I don't know if we could beat AutoDS though. They have a pretty good platform over there. What is your end goal with dropshipping? Do you have one? I don't think I do, Lawrence. I really don't. I mean, I've kind of like reached the end goal in a way. Like when I first started dropshipping, I was working a 9-to-5 job. I was living in this shoebox of an apartment in New York City. And my goal was just like, maybe I can make some extra money and like retire like 5 years earlier, maybe 10 years earlier if I'm lucky. And then I started dropshipping. Back then it was just eBay. And 9 or 10 months in, I was looking at it and I was like, wait a minute, I'm making more dropshipping than I am at my job. I could just leave my job now. I don't have to wait for retirement. Now, me being like super like conservative with these sort of things and like scared, was like, oh, I'm not going to quit my job yet. But then a couple months later, I started Amazon. So I had 2 incomes coming in. And then later that year, I said, you know what? This is crazy. I'm making so much more money drop shipping than I am at my job. Let me just quit my job now. And so I did. And that was October 2018. And I've never looked back since then. So I don't need to retire because I'm living like this life of freedom. Like I'm just able to do things completely on my own terms. I don't answer to anyone else. I work when I want to. I have teams doing stuff for me. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds. Would you ever consider managing a whole bunch of other stores like you used to make more money? No. I like having 1, maybe 2 stores on each platform. For something like Facebook, and TikTok Shop, really only 1 store. For something like eBay, you could have multiple, but again, I'm just happy with 1. For me, like the whole point of me getting into this was freedom. And I don't want to do anything that takes away my freedom anymore. So I'm comfortable with where we're at, the level of my stores, how much they're bringing in from all my online businesses. And I don't need to go more than that. I'm happy with where I am. It feels sustainable. It feels like it's going to last. So I'm good with where I'm at. And I enjoy having the freedom that comes with that. Yeah. It was tough back then, but nowadays it's a tough place. Can you rank marketplaces? Yeah. So top places to sell right now, I would say TikTok Shop. It's new, it's hot. There's not a lot of people doing it. People aren't doing it the right way. People are teaching how to do it the wrong way. So TikTok Shop is probably number 1. eBay is tried and true. It's always been around. I think it's going to continue to be around. So that's number 2. Facebook, number 3. And that's for drop shipping I'm talking about. Appreciate you, Rob. I have no idea, to be honest. All right, guys. So that is all the questions. Great questions this week. Remember, you can still come to the live training I'm going to be doing later this week. Make sure to register for it at the link down below. You do need to be registered. Spots are limited. And if you have any questions specific to TikTok Shop dropshipping, you can ask it during that training. I'm going to be an open book there, so make sure that you come, make sure that you watch, make sure you ask some great questions. I can't wait to see a lot of you there. Otherwise, signing off for now. I'll see you guys at the live training. Bye for now.